Here we are in downtown Chicken, Alaska. Last week, we visited the tiny Alaskan town of Chicken and, traveling the top of the World Highway, crossed the border into Canada. We thought we'd seen the neatest mining town in the north, but wait until you see what we found this week. We are in the Yukon and we're coming into Dawson City here pretty soon. There's a ferry that you have to take across the river to get to it, so that ought to be exciting.
Yeah, let's hope we don't drag.
Yeah, I hope not. We're approaching the ferry pretty quickly, I think.
This GPS screen.
Oh yeah, look at this.
Coming into, I think it's the Yukon River, isn't it?
Yep, we're gonna cross the Yukon River on the ferry.
The mighty Yukon.
The George Black Ferry is a free service that runs 24 hours per day from May through September. Because the river freezes over during the winter, the ferry can no longer run and residents rely on a seasonal ice bridge to cross. You've been watching them unload, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm gonna go real slow.
Looks like we're getting on this one.
Okay.
This is a bumpy area. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. Here we go. Let's hope. It's a little steep. Here we go. Way steeper. There's somebody right in front of you.
Can you make sure I don't drag in the way?
Hear me say stop, then stop.
Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff underneath that hangs down under the...
What do you say?
And the CP
Go, go.
Yeah, my trailer brakes keep grabbing, that's why it's doing that. Alright, we made it.
We made it.
Woo! That was stressful.
After crossing the river without issue, we pulled into the heart of Dawson City and set up camp for a few days at Gold Rush Campground. We made it to Dawson City last night, and we are staying right in town at the Gold Rush Campground, so we're going to walk around town and check it out, see what it's all about. Dawson City is located where the famous Klondike and Yukon rivers meet and was the hub of the Klondike Gold Rush of 1898. During the gold rush, it became the largest city north of Seattle and west of Winnipeg, with somewhere between 30,000 and 40,000 residents, and earned the nickname the Paris of the North. It was the place for the wealthy to see and be seen. Dawson City also served as the capital of the Yukon from 1898 to 1953. Unlike many cities that sprang up during various gold rushes, Dawson City survived once the rush was over and is still a thriving city with about 2,000 year-round residents. Mining is still one of the top industries in Dawson City. Until the 1950s, stern wheelers that traveled the Yukon River were the main link between Dawson City and the outside world. As the heart of the Yukon's transportation system, they carried people and supplies. I'm sure you can imagine that the arrival of the first stern wheeler in the spring was cause for great celebration. After a long, isolated winter, the fresh food, supplies, and news of the outside world were very welcome. Many of the buildings in town are built on pilings due to the permafrost. If you build right on the ground, the heat from the building will melt the permafrost underneath, and the building will start sinking and leaning. We saw many examples of this on our walk around town.
The paddle wheeler is a stern wheeler specifically, which means the wheel is on the rear of the boat. This is the Feather Salon, and this was constructed sometime between 1900 and 1902. When Parks Canada picked up the Feather Salon in the 1950s, it looked like this. You can see that it's built right on the ground. That's a big no-no here where we have that permafrost.
We enjoyed a guided historic tour of town to help us learn about the town, but also allow access into some of the buildings that have been beautifully restored by Parks Canada. It was great to see inside and to get some insight from our tour guide regarding the buildings, the history of the town, and some information about what life is like now in Dawson City.
So I'm standing right now on the steps of Ruby's Place, the last brothel to close in Dawson City. Would anybody care to guess when it closed? The COVID-related shutdown? 1961, sounds like you read the sign. But sex work and brothels were always tolerated in Dawson City. Sam Steele, the head of the Northwest Mounted Police at the height of the gold rush, said that he felt they were a necessary evil to keep the rigors and intentions of miners in their proper channel. And indeed, if you read newspapers all the way from the gold rush to 1961, you can hear mothers talking about how they're very happy to have a well-run brothel here in town because it keeps the miners away from their daughters.
Also in Dawson City, we visited the Jack London Museum. Jack London was the famous author of many popular books, including The Call of the Wild, White Fang, and To Build a Fire. In 1897, at the age of 21, he ventured north from San Francisco to take part in the Klondike Gold Rush. He lived in a cabin on Henderson Creek and tried his hand at mining, but never found gold.
So we're here at the Jack London Museum, and this is a replica of the cabin that I think he used to stay in, along with, I think, 2 other people. During his time up here in the Yukon to come mining. And this cabin was built half with the original logs and half with new logs, because the original logs were split up. Some of them were sent to Oakland, California, where there's another Jack London museum in the United States. But you can kind of see the original logs are darker, and then the new logs are kind of lighter in color. So this is kind of the dividing line here. And then if you look up here, this is also a replica of his signature that was found in that exact same location within the cabin. It says Jack London, miner author, 1898, January 27th. These are caribou hides that he would have used in the cabin as a mattress. They're really soft, pretty thick, and the hairs are tubular in shape, so they are really good insulators. So cool.
Just 11 miles south of Dawson City is Bonanza Creek Road, and it was definitely worth the dusty drive to see where the Klondike Gold Rush started. Along this drive, we saw evidence of mining, both past and present, everywhere we looked. Of all the gold mining areas we have visited on this trip, this was the crown jewel of them all. That's a big old dozer. It all started in August 1896 when George Carmack, his wife Kate, brother-in-law Skookum Jim, and their nephew Dawson Charlie were out hunting. They stopped to rest on the banks of Rabbit Creek when one of them noticed a shiny object in the water. You guessed it, this was the first discovery of gold in the area. A short time later, George Carmack recorded the discovery claim, word got out, and gold fever spread, creating the Great Klondike Stampede of 1898. Rabbit Creek turned out to be so rich in gold that it was renamed to what we now know as Bonanza Creek.
So this is where it all started.
Bonanza Creek.
Bonanza Creek. This spot and this creek are very close to here. Started the entire Klondike gold rush.
Yep, this was the first claim on the creek.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Lots of tailings piles.
Well, we are at dredge number 4, and I'm reading about it, and it says that it is the largest wooden hull bucket line dredge in North America. It was built in 1912, and it was one of 24 dredges that worked this area.
This is the bucket line off that dredge, and I'm reading on the sign over here that each of these buckets weighs 4,600 pounds, and each one of them would haul at least a ton of gravel. Holy cow.
You can't come to Bonanza Creek without trying your own hand at panning, and that is exactly what we did at Claim 6. We spent a couple of hours in the creek shaking, swirling, washing, and rinsing the dirt in hopes of finding some shiny flecks in the bottom of the pan.
I see 3 for sure.
Yeah, I do too. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
One,
So there's 1, 2, 3.
suck them up. Got it.
And how's the Bonanza Creek gold mining going?
I guess it's okay. It was hailing a second ago.
Is that why you have your hood up?
Yes. Now my hands are wet, so I don't want to touch it. We didn't strike it rich, but we are excited to say we found our own Bonanza Creek gold.
You ready to swirl?
Maybe. There's still a lot in there. I've got, I think, one little fleck. Yeah, I've got one.
Got one?
Got one.
Awesome. I see it.
See it right there?
There it is.
Yep.
You might have others. Let's get that one out.
Yeah, I want to get that one out, and then
I don't know
I'll...
what that is up there.
That's not...
All right, let me get the suction.
There you go.
Got it.
Found a flake of gold.
You did. Good job.
After finding our Klondike gold and wrapping up our time in Dawson City, we are heading south down the Klondike Highway towards Skagway, Alaska. You didn't think we were completely finished with Alaska, did you? We head back into the last frontier next time here on Alaskan Ram Travel Adventures.